A couple of days ago, I made a video that's just back a couple of videos about the cost of some foods that most of us would buy, like your fruits, some veggies, some lunch meat, cheeses, some stuff in the meat case, which I want to reiterate on that. If you watch this video that I have back, just a couple of videos back, you'll see it says going Kroger. I don't know where you're at, or where we have a Publix, a Kroger, an Aldi, Save a Lot, and Walmart, of course. I don't frequent any of them but Kroger and Publix, which Publix is not quite ready yet, but I go to one in a town not very far from me that is already opened. So every now and then. But I will say this, that most of everything I weighed, before I did this video, I weighed the things that was supposed to weigh what they said, and they were on. And all of these bottles of ketchup that people are picking up that are like half empty, I haven't had that problem here. Now, I'm just saying here at mine. So I'm not taking up for nobody. I'm just saying that I haven't seen that kind of craziness here yet. It might come. I don't know. But the 5-pound bags of potatoes, they weigh what they're supposed to weigh. Your bananas are like 40 cents a pound. And your which I get, the stuff I get, strawberries, are $5.99 for the medium-sized basket, which I think most people get. Your thing. The biggest thing that I get that I don't like is my orange juice. I drink one kind, simply orange, because to me it's the purest you can buy for around here for orange juice. But it's for 76 ounces. It's $8, and that to me is just crazy. But just like half gallons, which is not actually a half gallon, I will say that it misses that by about 2 ounces. They're like $4.99, but they run sales on pretty much all the time for them, 2 for $7. That's the way I go instead of the big one, because you do get more. And I drink a lot of orange juice, a lot, because I don't drink soda. I drink those drinks that's called ice, the strawberry flavored. To me, it tastes like strawberry Kool-Aid from when I was a kid, so I guess that's why I like it. But it's that and water, pretty much for me. I don't really do anything like sodas. And I did beer, for guys that drink beer, but I think it's probably pretty legit anywhere. Your most of your beers for 12-pack are, $24, $25, unless it's some kind of lager or something that's way more expensive. I guess Red Stripe. Here, Red Stripe, Heineken. Then your Mexican beer, your Corona, Dos Equis. It's probably the most. Then if I get it right, Molab, or whatever it is. I don't drink beer, so excuse me for mispronouncing. But anyway, I know people here drink a lot of like Blue Moon, used with the little orange slice. I'm not a beer drinker either. I can't stand it. It's just, to me, I can't understand it or coffee. I don't get it, but people like it. Hey, get what you want, man. That's why we live here, to get what you want. And I just don't. If I was to drink alcohol, it'd be a wine or bourbon, preferably bourbon. But I have a good taste for bourbon. I live right on the Bourbon Trail in Kentucky, right where it starts. The water that runs right beside my house, within 60 yards of my house, that water goes straight to the Jim Beam distillery, Heaven Hill, and Buffalo Trace, which makes Pappy Van Winkle, Rip Van Winkle. And I have 12, 15, 18, 20, and 23 in that. I collect bourbon because I live here. That's, it's a big thing here. That, horses, it's a big thing. And I obviously I have cattle, so I'm part of that kind of industry, I guess. But everything seems to me being legit here. So, I mean, I've seen a bunch. I guess because I made that video, so now the algorithm is just feeding me all this stuff for food. But I just seen a guy where he went in this place called Krusty Krab, wherever this is at, so you might know where it is. But he spent $61, and he bought some crab cakes. They charged him 75 cents a pack for tartar sauce, $2 for plastic silverware, $2 for a napkin. All these individual charges for a straw, for ice. I've never heard of that. I've never even seen anything like that around here. No place, not one place around here does that. Because if they did, they'd be out of business like that. Because people here, where I'm at, no, you wouldn't make it. You would not survive. They would run you out of business. You wouldn't be able to, you just wouldn't be able to do it. People will not pay that kind of stuff here. It won't happen. And I wouldn't. When this guy was sitting here talking about that, he said, I'm okay with paying $20 for one person to eat at Five Guys. We have a Five Guys. And it's expensive. There's no way I'm going to pay $20 to go in and eat a hamburger and fries. No way. I can make a wonderful hamburger because I mix my burger with brisket meat. And I know where it comes from, right there out of my pasture. And I know what they've ate. And it's real burger, not this stuff. Let me tell you something, folks. I will tell you something that I absolutely 100% know about is beef. I've done it for most of my life. Even when I wasn't doing it, I was still involved in it. My dad was one of the biggest beef producers in my county at one time when I was a kid. Him and my uncle. So, I will tell you this. Beef, if you get beef and it says Cargill on it, don't buy it. Because you're going to have a skillet full of water. If you ever cooked your hamburger and when you get done, it's not grease, it's water. That's filler. And it is bad for you. When it looks like just brown water, that's bad. Folks, don't eat that. Don't buy it. In that video, I showed you the things to buy. If it's got anything that it's got, they had some that's their grind. They grind it. And these packs, it's got dye in it. The guy that works there, their head meat guy, they still cut some meat here. They cut steaks every day and still grind some burger here. Most places don't anymore. They sold all that equipment and quit. So I'll tell you this. Watch for any pre-pattied burger you buy. It's a joke. 8 patties for $12, and it's going to taste like doo-doo. And anything that they get, because the guy over here that's their head meat cutter, he is also our state representative. He's been here for almost 30 years. And I know exactly where all this stuff comes from. Do you know most of our meat, all over our whole nation, Swift, as you know, is owned by China. I'm not buying it. This company, Cargill, they have been sued into oblivion for so many salmonella outbreaks. The stuff they run their meat through is poison. So if you look at something that's got Cargill meat producers on it, put it down. Put it down. Most of your meat in your round tube, 1 pounds, and all that stuff, that's where it comes from. Look on it. It's absolutely terrible. And not only is it terrible, it's terrible for you. Don't put that in your body. Don't put that in your children or anybody. It's terrible. This meat is coming 7 days across from Austria. They're paying about 52 cents a pound. And it's on a boat for 7 days. Then it's another 7 days to get it to the stores. So your meat is already 14 plus days old before it ever gets to the shelf where you buy it. I could do aged beef properly. Age my beef for 14 to 16 days. I've aged it some for 30 in the right time of year though. And you talking about, I mean, it's outstanding. The steaks, they're going to look dark. They're going to look as black as your phone. It's in some places. You're going to see some blackness to it. But if it's done correctly, you need to really study it. If you're going to do this, don't do it unless you know what you're doing. You'll kill yourself. So just beware. Beware of anything. Beware, whatever you want to say. I call it beware, whatever. Anyway, just be informed on the stuff that you buy, because some of the stuff they're sticking in these stores is worse than anything you can think of. It's if you get a watermelon that's seedless, and we're pretty much in the season, and most places it is season in Mississippi. That's been trucked in here. The little small green that's got the black seeds in it, best watermelon you're going to get. It's a real watermelon. These seedless watermelons, if you put them in your mouth, they taste like they're a little bit chewy. They taste a little bit not so crisp. I like my watermelon crisp. When I bite it, I want it to be crisp. Anything that's softness or anything like that, nah, I'm done with that. I'll throw that out. Throw it and let the animals eat it. I'm not eating it. But be wary of your stuff, because some of this stuff it's really bad for you folks. It's not only the dye they're putting in stuff that's bad for us, the stuff they're getting from other countries. When you paying 52 cents a pound, my beef, most I've ever gotten out of any of my beef is $4.94 a pound. $4.94 a pound, fresh out of my field. And that's after they skin them and debone them. That's just meat. That's not weight of just everything. It's singled out to just the meat. And when you start picking up steaks that's got a lot of rind on the edges, that's this thick that you got to cut off, you're not going to cook that. One, it's not going to render down on your grill or anything. You're going to have to cut it off. I cut mine off before I start. I look for the marbling inside the red meat. If it's a big glob of red meat, that's not going to be a good steak. You better cook that as rare as you can stand to cook it if you want to have any kind of flavor or any kind of tenderness. Because if not, it'll be like chewing on a piece of leather. So, if you could get beef tallow, pure beef tallow, if you have a local shop, here we have a local shop that's a butcher. It's called Bourbon Barrel Meats. There's like 5 locations. The guy raises all of his beef cattle All of his pork, all of the stuff that's in his buildings are all off his properties and done in his own facility and packaged up. And they're about $2.50 a pound cheaper than Kroger's on everything. But I can tell you, at me getting $4.94 a pound for mine, and that's for the whole shebang, and they're getting $19 a pound here for ribeyes. Some of them look decent. Some of them are pretty decent. Some of them are not. But you got to really know how to pick your steaks. If you don't, you're always going to get a bad steak. And it'll about turn you against them as high as they are. But fillets, $25 or $26 a pound. Down there, he's selling them for $23 a pound. I sell mine. Now, this is going to be crazy to you, but I sell mine for $10 a pound. Beef tenderloin. That's one steak is about 3/4, 6/10 to 3/4 of a pound, as high as a pound. They're big. I have big steers, but I did them at the right time, because you go over too much in weight, you're going to get tough meat. If your steak is tough, it's either from some place that I just told you, or somebody is using a piece of a cow, which should be a steer, not a cow, that has gotten too big, and they're starting to get muscle. What you're eating is turning to harder muscle. So every time you bite into a steak, whatever it is, if you eat beef, and you have that toughness, that beef has gotten too old or too large. When you get a nice, delicate steak like a tenderloin, and I've seen people eat tenderloin, it's almost chewy in the restaurants. And I can tell you right now, that is not a fresh steak. And it's too old. When you have a nice, tender piece of meat, that is going to be taken when that steer is about 700 pounds at the most. Anything over that, you're going to be sitting there chewing on it like chewing gum. So be mindful of your beef and your chicken. I got some chicken breast, and was washing it. This has been almost a year ago. And I was washing this chicken breast, and I could feel it in my hand. And it was from the meat counter at Kroger. And I washed this piece of chicken, and it started unraveling and felt like ramen noodles. I ducked it in the trash can and I threw it out. Then I got thinking, wait a minute, what'd I pay for that? I paid like $3.59 for it. Grabbed it, put it in a clear bag, zipped it up. Got my piece, tore off the label. Next day I went to town. I took it in there. I put it right back in the refrigerator to keep it cool. So when I got there, I got up, went to asked for the meat guy to come up. But when my friend, it was another guy that was the manager over the facility. He brought up there and I showed it to him. I said, man, I don't know what this is, but it ain't chicken. And he said, yes, it is. I said, okay, where'd you get this chicken? I've never seen chicken unravel. It's strings like held up. I said, it's strings like noodles, man. Chicken don't come apart like that. I've been around chickens my whole life. I've never seen a chicken come apart like that. That is crazy. They gave my money back. That was it. They didn't want to talk about that no more. But since then, the chicken has gotten better in some aspects. I only buy one kind. I buy Purdue. Tyson. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I will not buy anything that says Tyson on it. That's a no-no. But again, I've got a neighbor down the road that I get free-range chickens from him. He already has them completely ready in a freezer bag that I can ziplock them, whatever I want to do. Uh, Pack them, shrink wrap them, whatever I want to do. I can fix it or cook it or whatever. But they're usually about 4 pounds, 3.5, 4 pounds. They're not a big. They're not big. They're just right for me. I have a rotisserie on me. I do a lot of rotisseries because I like that. I do a lot of wings, but I buy this stuff from him, and all of my eggs come from him. He won't take a dime for them. They're all brown and green, fresh eggs, farm eggs, off the farm. And his chickens eat just right out there on the ground. He moves them around every day, puts them up at night. Everybody doesn't have the ability to buy this kind of stuff. I understand that. I do. And I wish you did. Because you'll feel a lot better. I'm going to tell you something, folks. I just turned 59 years old. I just turned 59 years old. Other than having a little bit of an eye infection from allergies, I'm 59 years old. And I don't let myself get out in the sun and get burned up because I've had problems with my ear and I had stuff froze off, and I'm not doing that. My brother died of that, and I'm not going to do that. But I will tell you something. I don't have any aches and pains in my joints. I don't have any of that. I pretty much just carnivore. I eat fruits and meat and a few vegetables. When I say that, asparagus. And to be mindful of that, our asparagus here is $1.99 for a bunch. And I've seen people paying $8 and $9 for it. That's insane. But I pay $1.99 for a bundle. But I only get it when it's a certain size. The big stuff, that's out of season. I don't want it. It's stringy. It's terrible. And I only eat fresh stuff. So I've already canned some stuff. I'm going to be canning some more stuff. And then if I have stuff left over from last year, I give it away. I don't keep it no longer. I give it away so somebody can use it up right then. And I give it to families or people that need it more than I do. Because I'm by myself. I don't need that much, but I put away a lot of things. And I trade stuff to other people for things that they make that I want that I don't have. If you can find a way to get into a community of people, and you can do this living in town, if you can get into a community of people, you might have something you can get that maybe they can't get, or it's not, well, let's just say it's not easy for them to get, or maybe impossible for them to get, or maybe very inconvenient for them to get, and they'd be happy to trade with you. Folks, I'm going to tell you, I've built my life on bartering. I've bartered my whole life with things. My thing that I do for fun is barter. I barter all kinds of things. Silver, gold, watches, you name it. I do that. That's what I do. And I'm not rich by no means. Absolutely not. I feel the pinch just like everybody else does. That's why I do what I do. Because I know if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to afford it. I live by myself. And it's anybody knows this, it's tough. It's tough to be on your own. I don't care what it is. But I'm also a licensed funeral director and embalmer. I've been that for almost 40 years now. Started doing that when I got out of high school. Don't ask me why. I did. I'm licensed here in my state, and I go and help a local business here where they get really busy sometimes. Just had a funeral yesterday, but it was my aunt. I was in, and this is where I work. She was there, but I go there and work part time for them. When they get really busy, sometimes I have to. I do whatever is needed. So if I have to, I don't usually meet with a family because that's more for them. That's their business. But I will help or do whatever's needed, and to help the owner out because they're just slam busy. And I'm gonna tell you something about a business, folks. The funeral business. If you own a funeral home, you'll make millions. I mean millions. And you only do what people want you to do. So the service is provided, you pay X amount of dollars, they tell you up front what it is and you get that. And that's something that AI will never take away, is that business. Ever. Never, ever, ever. So if you're looking for something to get into, young people, and if it doesn't make you feel uncomfortable, it's a good business. You can easily hold a license and make $80,000 to $100,000 without any problem. And if you're lucky enough to get into one and own, you'll make millions upon millions of dollars. Millions. It is a very, very lucrative business. And you can be honest about doing it and still make a lot of money. So, but anyway, folks, I don't want to talk about too many things, but the food thing, I will tell you, the beef is a 100% absolute because I've done it all my life. And another thing, I guess some of these Kroger stores are different because they're not doing that stuff here. And like I said, the restaurants are not doing that stuff here. If they were, they wouldn't be in business because this town wouldn't tolerate it. And the people around here. And there's people who live here from everywhere. Michigan, Ohio, you name it. People live here all from everywhere. It is actually become a melting pot. It's just not generations of Kentuckians. It is lots of different people. This town went from about 40,000 to over 100,000 in about 4 or 5 years, and they're still just building everything. They're building new Target. I can't even tell you, and probably about another 600 or 700 apartment units that'll rent for about $1,500 for a 2-bedroom, and then about 1,000 for a single. So, and they're brand new and they're nice too. Fireplaces, your own parking garage or parking spot. So anyway, thanks folks. I didn't want to make it this long, but it is. I appreciate it if you watched it. I hope that you get something out of it. But I will tell you that watch your meat and make sure it doesn't say Cargill meat on it. Don't buy it. And if that's all you can find, do something else. Find something else, because that's poison. I'm gonna tell you, it's not good. And if you're cooking your beef, like I said, and it turns into gray water, it's not beef. It's not. Beef don't turn gray water, and you pour it out, and it's just water you're pouring out. That's not the right thing. So trust me, I've been doing it for long enough to know what it is. When your pan looks like it's supposed to look, cooking hamburger, that's when it's hamburger, not gray water. Folks, thanks a lot. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope this helps anybody that's looking for anything. Thank you, and God bless.